Hello there, this is Ishita. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I welcome you to my channel. And today I want to talk about UGC NET exams. And I'll directly jump into the topic of this video because usually my video goes on for very long, and I have decided to make very short videos so that people actually watch it. So, yeah, let's directly go to the topic. So I want to talk about UGC NET. So UGC NET is basically an exam which is sort of an eligibility test, which is conducted by NTA and UGC, and it is taken by postgraduate students all over India of various disciplines. So this exam sort of gives you the eligibility to become assistant professor in your subject all over India. So this exam is does sound pretty cool in theory because it is basically giving you a license to become a professor directly after your masters. So yeah, that is there. And this exam was conducted earlier used to be conducted every 6 months, and during the pandemic years there was a bit of delay in exams, like in the span of 2020 to 2022, I think only two exams were conducted. But right now the schedule is pretty regular. I think recently one UGC NET exam took place in like 2 3 days ago, I guess. So that's a positive development in the UGC NET sphere, that exams are finally regular now. So yeah, however, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the nature of this exam and some of the bitter truths about this exam. So I feel a lot of young students, a lot of fresh postgraduates prepare for this exam thinking that this exam is going to kind of enable them to get employed quickly, and it's going to open gates for them, and it's going to allow them to enter into academia and become assistant professors. However, that doesn't really happen. Like you definitely get the eligibility, you definitely get the certificate from University Grants Commission, but that doesn't guarantee any sort of employment right off the bat. Like obviously you can apply for jobs, like you have the UGC net qualification, then you can appear for interviews, you can apply on job portals, and you can apply on university websites. But I think that's the extent of it. Like once you appear for the interview, you realize what the catch is. The catch is the API score, or the academic performance index. So that is so when you appear for any sort of job interview, your profile is evaluated on the basis of API. So API is calculated on the basis of your performance, on the basis of your performance in bachelor's and masters, and uh, you are given scores for UGC net and JRF qualification, and you are given marks for PhD, for your PhD and research work. However, the problem is that for UGC net qualification, you're giving merely a 4 or a 5 score of 5, and max to max, you might get a score of 10. But for a PhD, they give 30 marks. Like in a lot of college, they give up to 40 marks as well. So you're given a score of 30 to 40 just for a PhD. However, for UGC net, the marks is just 4 to 5. So the moment you go for any job interview, you're automatically unable to compete, no matter how good you are, or how good your interview goes, or how knowledgeable you are. uh, Even if you're a very young student, like who has just finished their post graduation and qualified UGC net, you're still unable to, it's impossible to get it's impossible to compete with someone who has a PhD, and who might not be as knowledgeable as you, because in a lot of cases a doctor title or a PhD doesn't mean that the person is automatically uh, very knowledgeable. I mean, I'm not attacking any PhDs. I have a huge respect for the people who have PhDs. But here I'm talking about the gap that is created by API score. Like, because API makes it impossible for any fresher to get a job, because automatically if a PhD person, or a PhD person who has the PhD qualification, automatically gets 30 marks extra. So how do you compete with that? It's not possible. So automatically you get rejected no matter how good you are. So that tends to happen. And if you're lucky, you might get a job in some private university or in a private college, but very often those jobs are very exploitative in nature, and the pay is really bad. Like they pay you not really well at all, and sometimes they will not give you lectures. They might ask you to do a lot of admin work, so all of that tends to happen. So the problem with academia is that not just it's not like it's just difficult to enter, but for people who are experienced also, like people who have been on the job market, or who already have done their PhDs and a lot of research, even they find it very difficult to find permanent employment. A lot of very experienced and very great professors are employed on ad hoc basis in a lot of big universities of our country, like DU and JNU and BHU and a lot of places. So that is why when you go for job interviews, like for a guest lecturer job, you will find that in the waiting room, a lot of overqualified people are present. Like you will find that PhDs with 10 years of experience with research papers in big journals, even they are giving interviews for guest lecturer jobs. So the problem is that the academic job market is itself pretty bad, because there's an oversupply of PhDs, but there are not many jobs available for them. So that's the problem. So the market has shrinked quite a lot. There are not many great opportunities. There are not great many permanent opportunities available. If at all, like sometimes a public service commission releases vacancies, permanent vacancies, but those vacancies are also pretty rare. And if at all they come, there are a lot of bureaucratic problems and struggles that happen there. There are a lot of cases that happen there. Exam gets delayed indefinitely. There are problems with selection. It's for the seats are sold, so all sort of things happen. Like sometimes people do get job right after post graduation, if at all they're lucky, and their home state is releasing a lot of permanent vacancies, and they're lucky to get selected there. Then that's pretty good, because then they are getting job directly after their masters and UGC net qualification. So that's the ideal case scenario. However, for the majority of people, that doesn't happen. So that's the sad reality of academia. And it's true for a lot of places, not just in India. Even outside India, a lot of the academic job market is pretty pathetic. So that is the problem with this exam. Like that is the problem with academia, basically. And UGC net is just a small part of it. So I'm not dissuading anyone from preparing for this exam. Like you should prepare for this exam by all means. If you are determined to get a job in academia and you want to become a professor, by all means prepare for this exam. Directly go get a JRF and get yourself quickly enrolled in a PhD program, so that you might be so that you can increase your API, write research papers, so you can increase your chances of getting selected. The path is hard, but if you have selected that way, then definitely go for it. But keep the reality in mind as well. Yeah, so that was my take on UGC NET exams. Thank you for watching the video. If you have reached this far, I'm really grateful for you. And do like the video, do share it, and I'll be bringing more relevant content. And I'll be ending the video now, and hope to see you very soon in the next video. So, bye bye. Thank you.